Well, good morning. Today is Friday, January 19th, 2024. And this is my first opportunity in the year 2024 to come to you with the Urban Hope Refuge morning devotions. Our morning devotions is taken from the American Bible Society Daily Bible Reading Guide. And I want to, before I begin reading, to express profound appreciation to all of our readers that have covered the last 18 days of the morning devotion. I have to say to you, to have good friends is a great thing. And being challenged with the flu and bronchitis, I've been out of commission since the 29th of December, but I'm back. And I am back and able to give a testimony around our reading for today. So, why don't we dive into the reading of under our theme, God's guiding word, discipleship. And today we're reading from Mark chapter 9, verses 2 through 29. And you all know how the flu works. The cough hangs around. But I'm hoping that I'll get through our reading today. The sub theme is Jesus transfigured on the Mount. Verse 2 in the New Living Translation. After 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John and led them up on a high mountain apart by themselves, and he was transfigured before them. His clothes became shining, exceedingly white, like snow, such as no launderer on earth could whiten them. And Elijah appeared to them with Moses, and they were talking with Jesus. Then Peter answered and said to Jesus, Rabbi, is it good for us to be? It is good for us to be here. And let us make 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah, because he did not know what to say, for they were greatly afraid. And a cloud came and overshadowed them. And a voice came out of the cloud saying, This is my beloved Son. Hear him. Suddenly, when they had looked around, they saw no one anymore, but only Jesus with them. Now, as they came down from the mountain, he commanded them that they should tell no one the things they had seen till the Son of Man had risen from the dead. So they kept this word to themselves, questioning what the rising from the dead meant. And they asked him, saying, Why do the scribes say that Elijah must come first? Then he answered and told them, Indeed, Elijah is coming first and restores all things. And how is it written concerning the Son of Man, that he must suffer many things and be treated with contempt? But I say to you that Elijah has also come, and they did to him whatever they wished, as it is written of him. Sub-theme: a boy is healed. Verse 14: And when he came to the disciples, he saw a great multitude around them, and scribes disputing with them. Immediately, when they saw him, all the people were greatly amazed, and running to him, greeted him. And he asked the scribes, "What are you discussing with them?" Then one of the crowd answered and said, "Teacher, I brought you my son, who has a mute spirit, and wherever it seizes him, it throws him down. He foams at the mouth, gnashes his teeth, and becomes rigid. So I spoke to your disciples that they should cast it out, but they could not." He answered him and said, "O faithless generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I bear with you? Bring him to me." Then they brought him to him. And when he saw him, immediately the spirit convulsed him, and he fell on the ground and wallowed, foaming at the mouth. So he asked his father, "How long has this been happening to him?" And the father said, "From childhood. And often he has thrown him both into the fire and into the water to destroy him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us." Jesus said to him, "If you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes." Immediately, the father of the child cried out and said with tears, "Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief." When Jesus saw that the people came running together, he rebuked the unclean spirit, saying to it, "Deaf and dumb spirit, I command you, come out of him and enter him no more." Then the spirit cried out, convulsed him greatly, and came out of him. And he became as one dead, so that many said, "He is dead." But Jesus took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he arose. And when he had come into the house, his disciples asked him privately, "Why could we not cast it out?" So he said to them, "This kind come out by nothing but prayer and fasting." This concludes our reading for today of Mark chapter 9, verses 2 through 29. Very brief comments in the 3 minutes that are left. In this passage of Scripture, Jesus is preparing to go to Jerusalem, where he's going to be crucified himself, and where he is going to rise again. But on the way, as he's going to Jerusalem with his disciples, he takes the opportunity to prepare his disciples for his mission as they experience the glory of him at the transfiguration. And he stops and he heals the boy that is possessed by demons. Peter, James, and John joined Jesus on a high mountain. They didn't realize that they were going there for a special training. There, Jesus is transfigured. His holiness is to be displayed in such a grand way that the three followers that are with him, they were terrified to look at him. So they say to Jesus, let's make a mounting, a memory to you, to Elijah. They went on to say to Moses, to Elijah, and to you. They knew that in the Old Testament scripture that it had been preached that the prophet Elijah would return. They're confused. They're afraid. They're trying to put it all together. But Jesus is training them and preparing them. Listen, my time is up, but let me bring this particular point to you that was in the second part as Jesus healed the boy. Of themselves, the disciples could not do it. But when Jesus came on the scene, he asked the boy's father one question: do you believe? And the man said immediately, help my unbelief. And Jesus responded to that. And his response to that was to send healing. But he said immediately that this kind only comes as he raised the boy from the dead. It only comes by fasting and praying. And as I close, I say to you today, I am so grateful to the Urban Hope Refuge family because they know how to pray. I am so grateful to the Connecticut Northern Diocese because they know how to pray. And as I laid in the Manchester Hospital with very little hope of lungs that would work, that would help me to breathe at a most critical moment, that faith, that prayer, that fasting worked for me. And here I stand today. God makes disciples out of us through every experience that we encounter with him. So listen, let's continue today to pray our way through the day, walk with the King, and be a blessing.